for all my friends and family who don't know, realise maybe that I've lost 2.5 stones since the 21st of March. I've been doing that using Mounjaro. So if you've heard of Ozempic, pretty similar with an added kick to it. And very interested to hear that they mimicked a hormone already in some people's body, and I realised that some of my friends can actually stop eating when they feel like they're full, and then I realised, well, I don't really have that. Well, welcome to Leh. Welcome to the Himalayas. I've sat watching this behind me with the sunrise for 90 minutes or so, and it's fantastic. And the sun's now warming me up. It's pretty chilly earlier. So this is going to be a series of probably only a few videos, which I'm going to entitle Mounjaro in the Mountains. So for all my friends and family who don't know, realise maybe that I've lost 2.5 stones since the 21st of March. I've been doing that using Mounjaro. So if you've heard of Ozempic, pretty similar with an added kick to it. There will only be a few videos. If you're not interested in these, then obviously just skip on by. The reason why I'm doing this series is because I actually struggled to find any information on anybody taking Mounjaro at altitude. And with altitude sickness being a real worry, I decided that I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to put some stuff out there and to actually try and get some facts out there about how my life's been with Mounjaro whilst in the mountains and what I've done to it. And I suppose the first thing to say is actually, whilst I'm titling it Mounjaro in the Mountains, I decided to really not take Mounjaro in the mountains for a while. Let's roll back, say a bit about my story and why I'm taking Mounjaro in the first place, and then we'll come back to what I'm doing now. So back in long story short, but 2 years ago I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes. I was just borderline pre-diabetes, but over the next 2 years I saw that rise. I saw the levels, the HbA1c levels rise. I tried dieting. I tried losing weight by more exercise, which obviously didn't really work because I gained more muscle. I felt better. I started going to the gym or something else. I played badminton, cycling, did a bit of cycling as well, not too much. But I did all of those things. I shifted some weight. I was around 15 stone at points for quite a lot of the time, actually, hovering around 15 stone. Sometimes I'd get that down to 14.5. I could never get it below. I could never get it lower than that. But every test, every HbA1c, it either stayed static or it crept up slightly. So, long story short, back on the 28th of February, my best friend Alan died. In September, my dad died. And so I was feeling pretty crappy, if I'm honest. And I just wanted to feel a bit better about myself and things and have something different to focus on than the upset. So I thought, you know what? I've heard about Ozempic, I've heard about Mounjaro, I've heard about this plane that's right behind me. Isn't that just typical? Alright, let's give it a minute. Okay, maybe the plane's gone. So I'd heard about these things. I was quite intrigued. I chatted to my daughter and son-in-law about it. We were just talking about the drugs and what they do, and very interested to hear that they mimicked a hormone already in some people's body, and I realised that some of my friends can actually stop eating when they feel like they're full, and then I realised, well, I don't really have that. I know that there's stuff in the cupboard and I'm going to eat it. So obviously that was something I wanted to change. I was pretty destructive of my eating. I was eating stuff that I knew I shouldn't, but I just didn't care. And I guess this is born out of the fact that I was just having a crappy time. So anyway, 21st of March, well, maybe a few days before that, I decided to take Mounjaro. On the 21st of March, I took my first injection. At that point, I weighed 14 stone 11. I had got myself down from 15 stone 3, I think. And My cholesterol was relatively high. My blood pressure was borderline. I think it was 180 over 85. No, sorry, 130. 130 over 85. So not enough to cause real concern, but get it down. I can get it down. So I started thinking about the Mounjaro. I started taking it. First week, as expected, always lose a fair bit of weight. 6 pounds gone. But where are we now? So I'm going to say prior to coming on holiday, I had gone and I came on a holiday. We flew out on the 31st of July, so actually a week ago today, I think that is, and a week ago yesterday. And so when we flew out to India, before that I took my latest sort of weight. Sadly I've brought some travel scales with me, which will come up in a later video. I'll talk all about that. Just prior to coming out on the holiday, I weighed 12 stone 6, I think it was, 12 stone 6. So tremendous weight loss, 2 stone, gradual, very gradual, within the limits of with the NHS. Is it NHS guidelines or just general weight loss guidelines of no more than 1 or 2 pounds a week? So I'd say that I've been hitting 2 pounds a week. Sometimes I've plateaued those, so that's I've lost 0.2 pounds or something. Obviously there's water weight going on. I've also upped my water intake, I've upped my exercise. I am eating so many better things. I now stop eating because of the Mounjaro, I stop eating when I'm full, when I feel full. And actually there's something that's really interesting, is that whilst I pulled this Mounjaro in the mountains, I thought I don't really want too much Mounjaro in me when I get to altitude. So I think it was 10 days prior to flying out, I stopped. 10 days prior to flying out, I stopped taking Mounjaro, and I'd gone down to 2.5 milligrams. Whilst in the Mounjaro journey, if you don't know, you start off at 2.5 and then you titrate up to 5. See how that works for you. And for me, it worked very well, so I never really needed to go beyond to the next 7.5 one. So I stayed at 5 milligrams for many weeks, consistently losing 2 pounds a week, and that was really good. And then from there, I prior to coming on holiday, for the 3 weeks prior, I dropped it down to 2.5 milligrams a week, and then I took my last injection 10 days before we flew. And the reason for that was that meant it was 14 days before we arrived here in Ladakh, which is a minimum of 3,000 meters high. And obviously that's the start of feeling altitude sickness. So long story short, many symptoms you can get with Mounjaro. My main one was nausea and a little bit of blockages, don't need to talk about that, but mainly nausea, which made me not want to eat. And I was very aware, some days I wanted to eat more, but I could barely eat more than 600 calories. So I did muck around with my Mounjaro, and I split it, taking 2 injections, 2 injections a week of half the dose, and that sorted out the nausea. But coming into the mountains, I didn't want any hint of nausea from taking Mounjaro. So because of that, one of the reasons, for that, was because actually an altitude sickness symptom is nausea. So I'm not going to want to confuse the two of those. And the most important thing that I'd always have to do really is to make sure that I am actually sort of know that this is an altitude symptom that I've got rather than a Mounjaro. So going back a little bit, I lowered my Mounjaro down, and I lowered my Mounjaro down to make sure that I came into the mountains with less than 1.5 milligrams of Mounjaro on board. And obviously for me, who was used to 5 milligrams mostly, I kind of knew that 1.5 I wasn't going to feel any effects whatsoever, and I didn't. And I arrived here and I did have a little bit of nausea, so I knew that was about altitude, and I dealt with that appropriately, as you should with altitude sickness rules, etc., which I'm not particularly going to go into in these video series. There's enough of that information around, it's all over. But do you know what, I've got to say, just changing the subject slightly, Ladakh, Leh, what a place. We've been in Leh now for 36 hours. I love this place, I just love it. I was so glad we're here for a few more days, and we're going to do a tour of some more of the Himalaya valleys, and then we come back I should say Himalaya. That's the way you should say it. But I'm British, so I'm going to still say Himalaya. And so, yeah, Leh, fantastic place. But that's changing the subject. So anyway, so what I've done is I have brought my Mounjaro with me. I've got about 4 doses of 2.5 milligrams left. I've kept that cold. So in one of the videos coming, I'll explain how I've done that as well. I'll explain some of those sort of technical bits about, because you don't have to keep it cold once it's open, but I always think that's a good idea. It's not going to harm the medication keeping it at fridge temperature, as long as it obviously doesn't freeze. So anyway, so using the app Shotzi, I have come into, let's see if I can get the Shotzi up. I don't know whether this will actually show. I think this is going to show, probably. Just in case this does show, what they're saying is currently I've got 0.72 milligrams on board. So actually, really for the last week or so, I've been doing things under willpower. And I guess the good news is I haven't really taken it now for, God, how many days is this? I haven't really taken Mounjaro for 10 plus, so 17 days, yeah. And even then before, it was quite a low dose. Even then, so I'm doing mostly now by willpower and by knowledge up here. By what I really wanted to do by taking Mounjaro was to retrain my brain to get used to the no, Kev, don't eat that crap. Eat this good stuff instead. Focus on eating vegetables. Focus on fruits. Don't focus on carbs. Don't focus on things that give you a very quick hit of, I don't know, is it serotonin? I can't remember which drug it is, what hormone it is. But I'd say it's worked. I think it's worked. However, I am on holiday. I am in India. The food is just sublime here, and I'm not going to not eat what I want to eat here, because when I get back, I've also got another pen of Mounjaro waiting, and I will step it back up just to get myself back down to target. So I don't want to go overboard whilst on holiday. I do want to enjoy the food, but also I don't want to ruin what I've done. I don't want to just go balls to it and just eat what I want. So I do want to eat what I want, but within limits. And those limits being, I just don't want to be silly about it, but I really want to have a good time and a great holiday. And actually that's the way it goes. Last night we went to one of our favourite places, Karim's, which happened to unbelievably have a place in Leh. And it was good, and I ate what I want. I didn't go silly, I didn't go overboard, and actually that's me doing it, that's not Mounjaro doing it. So this has already been a great success. So just a few other stats then. Pre-diabetes, I had a test a couple of weeks before I came out, and rather than be 3 points in on the HbA1c level within the pre-diabetes range, I'm now 3 points below. So I've shaken that pre-diabetes label. Now, I'm not going to be cocky to say that that's gone, because who knows what happens next once I stop Mounjaro forever, once I reach my target. Maybe that will come back, and maybe that's something else that I'll have to think about in later on down the line. So I will worry about that later down the line, but not now. But for now, I've shaken pre-diabetes. My cholesterol is so much lower. It's now at 5 point something, I can't quite remember. And it's 5 point something. It's much better, even better than that. The HDL takes up an awful lot of that 5. And so my HDL triglyceride ratio is just really, really good. And so I've got no worries there. And my blood pressure, average blood pressure now, so it was 130 over 85 as an average. So again, no great shakes. I wasn't taking any meds for it, didn't need to, no statins. But statins is cholesterol, isn't it? Okay, doesn't matter. I wasn't taking anything. Now it's 110 over 70. So, and that's consistent. And that's, I'm going to guess, because of weight loss. I'm not going to guess it's because of Mounjaro and the GLP-1 that's inside me. It's because of the weight that I've lost. So, do you know what? I think that will probably do for this video. The only thing I will say is I've been helped by other videos along the line. So I'm going to put a shout out to, I'm going to get these names wrong, but I'll start off with Neil from My Life's Toil. really helpful series of videos. If you haven't come across Neil, I mean, he's quite funny. He's a Brummie as well. His story's pretty good. Not dissimilar to mine. I mean, he had a lot more weight to lose than I did. He's a lot taller than I am. But good lad from the UK. So I think, I'm going to put. There's also Claire, and her name is something like Testing Sobriety Mounjaro UK or something like that. And there's another one who I've forgotten. I'll mention him later on. But it's tomorrow now. I just remembered it's Kieran from Kieran Gets Fit and many other names. Haven't seen a video for a while, Kieran. Hope you're doing all right. But I've really enjoyed your videos up to now, and they've been a real help with my sort of journey. I'm going to say journey again, Mounjaro journey. But my time with Mounjaro. Your videos, Kieran, been really great. Anyway, back to yesterday. But there's been a few few videos that I've found really useful. So if I can put something back into the community via this set of videos, that's what I'll do. So I think that's for now. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close this video off. It's getting quite hot now. I mean, I could take this off because it was pretty chilly earlier, but the sun's just coming around, touching my arm. Don't want the tattoo to fade. So yeah. And what is the time? So it's now 7:25. I've only been up an hour and a half, no more than that, 2 hours, to catch the sunrise. So I'm going to go back to bed. I'm on holiday, why not? So anyway, Mounjaro in the mountains. I'll see you in the next episode. Hopefully subscribe. How about that? You could even watch our journey into, if you've come across this from all about Mounjaro, then you can see some of our travels on what is a brand new channel to document our travels going forward. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like, yada 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 yada. Right, over and out. Cheers, bye.